Hi everyone, I just wanted to share with you an idea I had for sharing the way of salvation with kids. Now I'm going on a trip way up to a remote community in northern Ontario, and I'll be training some Sunday school teachers there. So along with the other team members, we were working on ways to equip these brand new teachers, new Sunday school teachers, in ways to share the gospel. And so we'll be using things like the Wordless Book and methods like that that are, tried and true and that very many people are familiar with. So I was thinking I would like to do something that's a little bit different, and that's something that they could easily replicate. So I wanted to come up with a way for people to be able to share the gospel spontaneously, just with things that were around them. So I came up with the idea of using story stones. So this is an activity that I'll be doing with the teachers that we're training, and they'll be making their own story stones. So all you need for this is a cloth bag or something to hold the stones in, because then you'll be able to carry them around, and 5 stones. So now I've got these pretty river rocks that I bought at the dollar store. You can find them at craft stores and whatever, but there's no reason why you couldn't just use pebbles or rocks that you have, that are on the road or that are, along the shoreline or whatever. So this is something that's easy to do on your own. Now, I've written the symbols. You'll see there's all sorts of symbols on here, and I've used a chalk writer, is what it's called, to put the drawings on the rock. So they just need to be clean, as long as there's no dust or anything on them. And then I'll show you the tip here. It's not a marker. It's actually more like a grease pencil than anything else. So you could use like a chalk marker, or even a metallic Sharpie would show up really well. Or, if you have light gray rocks, a regular Sharpie would work too. So whatever works, that's the point. It's supposed to be easy to replicate and easy to do on your own. Easy to do with a group of kids if you wanted to. So there's 5 different symbols, and I actually have an instruction page here that I'll be giving to the teachers. You can't see the entire thing, that's too bad. But I do have kind of smaller size ones available on my website, welcometothe.zoo.ca, and you can just look on the home page there for Salvation Story Stones, and there will be a printable. I'll also leave a link to it in the description below this video. So that kind of gives you the printable kind of gives you the outline of just sharing the way of salvation and what each of the symbols mean. So the crown stands for Creator King. So I'll walk you through it so that you know the basic outline. And if you've shared the gospel before, you know the basic steps. These are just kind of meant as memory guides to help you remember to cover all the bases. And it's a nice tactile way too. Kids can pick up the rocks and they can hold them while you're talking to them about what each symbol means. So the crown is for Creator King. So before anything else was, God was. He created the universe, He created everything in it, and including the first humans. He created a man and a woman. And He liked everything that He had made, and it was good, but He loved the humans that He had created. He said they were very good. That's in Genesis 1:31. He wanted to be with humans forever. He loved them so much that He wanted to be with them forever. But then something happened. So this is a stick figure, and then a crown, and then a broken line between the two of them. So this stick man, of course, symbolizes human beings, and the crown symbolizes our Creator King, God. So humans made a choice to break God's rules. Breaking God's rules is sin. That's what God calls it, and that's what the Bible calls it. God can't be anywhere near sin. So because of those bad things, breaking God's rules, we're eternally separated from God. He can't be anywhere around it. He doesn't want us to be separated from Him, though. He loves us so much. And you can take the kids to Romans 3:23. So He loves us so much that He came up with a way to fix that problem. He sent His Son Jesus, who's perfect. He's never done anything to break God's rules, and so He's never sinned. He actually took our punishment for us by being tortured and dying on the cross. But because He is also God, He came back to life. So He proved that He's God. Because he paid for our sin, our time has already been served. We don't have to pay for our sin again. We can be with God forever. There's nothing standing in the way of us and our Creator King anymore. But God loves us so much that he would never force us to love him back. He would never force us to do that. He wants us to make that decision on our own. So he says in his book, the Bible, that if we confess with our mouth and believe with our hearts that God raised Jesus from the dead, we will be saved. That means that we'll be able to be with God forever in heaven one day. That's Romans 10:9. So we need to talk to God. These are praying hands. And so when we're praying is just a fancy word for talking to God. So when we talk to God in prayer, we need to tell him that we believe that Jesus died for our sin and ask him to forgive us of the bad things that we've done, the sin that we've done, the ways that we've broken God's rules. God loves us so much that he always forgives us when we ask, and he will never leave us. He will always stay with us and be as close as we want him to be. That's in Hebrews 13:5. So then after we've asked for God's forgiveness, we can start making choices that don't break God's rules anymore. This symbol reminds me of his word, the Bible. And in the Bible, he tells us what we can do to live the best way possible, which is according to his design. So we can read the Bible, we can pray, we can talk to God, we can spend time with other Christians to learn more about God and his ways, and one day we'll get to be in heaven forever with him. In the meantime, though, we have a really important job to do. Love others and tell them about Jesus and how he took the punishment for their sin too. So there you go. There's the salvation story stones, and a really simple way to remember the various aspects and the elements of the salvation story, and a great way to share the gospel with kids, and you know what, with adults too. Why not, right? When you can pull these out and show them the symbols and explain them to them in a really simple way. So I thought that would be a great idea. I'd love to hear what your ideas are. Simple, easy ways to share the gospel with kids in a way that'll grasp their attention, that'll get their attention, but also a way that's easy to replicate. So, something that you don't need special tools for or special pictures for. So I'd love to hear your ideas in the comment section below. Feel free to leave them. And like I said, if you would like the printable script, I guess if you want to call it that, go to welcometothe.zoo.ca and I'll leave that link in the description below. All right, we'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.